At the Braddock News Letterpress Museum, students from North Dakota State University and the NDSU Press gathered to produce a book of poetry with printing presses nearly 100 years old. With 2 days before a public reading in Bismarck with the state's poet laureate, the students have a deadline to put together 180 handmade copies of Larry Woiwode's Land of Sunlit Ice.
We put the paper in, and then we pull the lever and it inks it onto the paper. So right now it's just going back and forth without inking anything until I pull this forward and then it will ink something. Are you keeping count? One, stop. 4, 5. This right here keeps track of it too.
Oh, cool.
You have to keep your fingers off. Pretty much it. It's pretty intense.
So I've been running one since 1960. Remember that, 1960? I started at Napoleon in 1951, so that's how long I've been in the business. Wow, it's way off. So you have to make adjustments on the press. Boy, that's just not enough room. You can't just be a printer, you got to be a carpenter too. Cut some off of this side. Girls, I got one done.
Really?
Jerome is the master.
That's enough.
That's enough.
That's a lot of ink.
What are you doing?
I didn't think.
Speed her up. That's how you do ink spread. Do a print on a little bit. And then, all right, Amanda.
Insert this. And the chase is inserted, and now we are ready to print.
The chase.
That's the chase. Yep, that's the word for it.
Fire this puppy up. You still have the speed really high? Do my fingers, but not your fingers.
In there.
Is it just too sticky? Too inky?
We're going to have to take the form off.
Do what?
Take the form off.
Okay. What happened?
The ink is just a little too tacky. It's too tacky.
Too tacky.
What page was it?
It's a new one. Yeah.
I guess we don't know because it
Yeah.
keeps wrapping around.
We haven't done a good one yet.
Circulate a little
Okay.
bit. A couple times around.
Just start. You're gonna get the kinks out.
Here we go.
Look at that.
It's better.
What do you mean it's better?
Well, the word sketching is still not showing up.
I don't think it's an ink issue. Well, you have plenty of ink on
It's a little bit better through here, but now it's starting to kind of fade up here.
Okay, shut it.
These guys that run the threshing show here, the volunteers that run this place, they know how to put things together, and so when we have a problem with the press, oh yeah, they come and they just fix it. It's because they know mechanics. It's their hobby. Well, they're kind of semi-retired and then they don't want to sit.
Well, there's always something to do. You know, you're not sitting around twiddling your thumbs. You're just always doing something.
Like they came in this week and installed all these ceiling fans, the heater, got that press operating, another one that was too small. They got heat in this building because you guys are here. So now I'm afraid my husband will never come home because there's heat up here. Well, I'll show you a good tractor here. I'll show you outside here. We're going to show them some really cool tractors like you've never seen. I just think they're really artistically cool looking. I love the spokes and the wheels, but aren't they just beautiful? Smell, and they go, you know, they make that chugging noise. But all this, like all along here, the threshing everything will be operating. They'll be cutting hay, sawing wood, and doing stuff, shucking corn.
Down the road in Linton, North Dakota, Leah and Alan run the Emmons County Record. The record was opened in 1884 by D.R. Streeter and his son Frank, whose descendants traveled from California to see the former home and workplace of their ancestors.
But that's the sale of the newspaper.
But the cool thing is, it has both of their signatures on it.
Yeah.
When I bought the business in 1993, when we got here, the people that were running it, in the interim, locked the back door by putting a broom handle against it. It was a double wooden door.
Later.
It was Frank's original door. Well, a few years ago, we replaced the back door.
But that stupid door was there forever, and then 3 months later.
The building was burglarized. They destroyed the door and broke in and ransacked every drawer. And they took absolutely
They didn't
nothing.
even take the cash register. I wish they would have just taken the cash register.
Right.
But I wish they hadn't ruined our door. It was like $1,000.
But they got nothing. They left $1 on the front counter. And that's the truth.
We got the $1.
They saw this place and they found it. They thought, these people need it worse than we do.
Why can't you see that?
I do. I have it in my drawer, but I want to frame it. I haven't got that done yet.
Oh, he has a sense of humor, that guy.
So we have 16 sheets of paper, and we did 8 fronts. So we did all the front pages yesterday, and so today we're doing all the back pages. And then we have to fold them all and put them all in a line and make kind of an assembly line to put the covers and the tissue paper and then all the pages in the correct order. And then we use the stitcher machine to stitch them together. So I think the ink stayed on it overnight and it wasn't transferring correctly, so they're going to take it off and put new ink on.
Our son has the business that I had, so it's in the family. It was in one family for 3 generations before I became the owner. Oh, it's not clean, but it's all. You could put some, like on a piece of cardboard or something, and warm it up, you might say, with your ink knife.
Okay.
I think that would.
That's cold, and this will make it a little bit better when he puts it on the press, we're thinking. So I'm going to give that to Jerome. Try to spread it out so that it doesn't take so long to ink it up. We're going to ink the baby. Well, as a press operator, you become quite in tune with the machine, and so if you hear any noise, then you know if there's something wrong. You just get your ears trained. This especially applies to the linotype, which has thousands of moving parts. But people with hearing impairments would sometimes go to linotype school, but their senses were so acute that they could feel a problem with the machine.
Knock it down a little bit. I'm gonna lock it in here with these keys to hold it firmly in place.
You still got, yeah. As long as it doesn't, if you get, if you don't have enough, it's gonna just overturn there, so.
Okay.
Oh yeah, put that back.
Okay. But do you think it's good? I think it's good. Okay. So we'll lift it up here.
We have a finite amount of paper, so we don't have any more paper. So if we screw up a few, we'll be okay, but if we get too many that are wrong, we can't redo them. Yeah. Oh,
It's set.
perfect.
This is wonderful. I love this. Much different than when you sit down at your computer and do it, right? You're already, even just watching it, you feel a different sense of the tactile, the physicality of it, the thinking that you have to do to plan backwards and forwards and upside down, and how it's going to play when you turn the paper over too. So there's a lot more thinking that has to go with it.
Yeah, so we're printing the back of this page. So we need to make sure the pages go in the right way so it prints the right direction on the back and not upside down or page number on the wrong side or anything. So what way do we need to do that?
Page number at the top. Yeah. Page number at the top on the bottom. Does that make sense? At the top on the bottom.
Computer, if you put the wrong letter in there, you check it when you print out your paper and you just go back in and make a keystroke and you're done. But here you would have to pull out some of your furniture, readjust that, find the right font to go in there, stick it back in. So an error is massive. See the different fonts. Here's what it looks like. Sometimes you need a little bit of space between the letters. Sometimes you need a lot. So it's just a whole set of building blocks for, it's called furniture. So someone who has to put these away has to be very careful they put them back in the right spot, because the composer working here is just going to be reaching back and they know where they're supposed to be. So hopefully when they come here and start plopping down those pieces of furniture to build up the space around the text.
Leave your typeset around so long, see what happens. Pretty soon you don't know what you've got there, see? But whoever set this probably would know. Yeah. Something in between here then, like that, so that they're all even. Otherwise, when you go to pick it up like this, if one of them is short, you're going to start losing your letters in it. Okay, I better see if I can get something printed this morning.
What do you think?
I think that will work. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the best that we've seen so far. So.
Roll the presses.
All right.
More fun to say stop the presses. Roll is okay. Okay, let's push that forward.
Page number at the top on the bottom.
9 picas. 8. Just throwing the wire here, and it just brings it down as it needs it. There's a thing that grabs the wire. Like if you had a 60-page booklet, you'd need more wire for stitch. This tape is movable. And we're going to push this pedal. And
That's better.
this is perfect right here. You want about a gap of an 1/8 of an inch. Okay.
But when you stack them together, then all your edges are no longer nice and neat. So that's why we have to put them through the cutter. Removing the safety feature.
Now, this is a very dangerous machine.
Something like this?
Yeah, I'm a good apprentice.
And that gave a much better,
Too much force usually.
no printing. It's good.
You cut your fingernails with that thing. Look at that.
Beautiful. It's perfectly cooked.
We are hooking it up here. And there's muffins and OJ down there. Everybody go get some food.
Wait, where?
After lunch, the papers will have had time to dry enough that we should be able to start folding. And then once we get them all folded, then we can assemble the chapbooks.
Suzanne, why are they called chapbooks?
Did you not read the homework? It's from around the 14th century. Peddlers or people going door to door selling, they could carry small books. The men selling the books were called chapmen. And so the books they were selling were called chapbooks. Press had done they had done some in the 50s and in the 70s. One of the very first books that the press did was a chapbook. And I wasn't sure at first, is that the direction we're going? I don't know. But then I had been out here last summer working with Alan, and I thought, well, I know where we can print it if we do it. And so Larry gave us the poems. We made the arrangements to come out here, and it's been a huge learning process.
No, we have enough. No.
Alan Burke and Larry Woiwode.
Oh, we got it. Yeah, we're trying to act normal.
I know, it's always hard. You're doing a good job, though.
I have college students who can't read cursive. They're not teaching it anymore. I was writing on the board and somebody said, I can't read cursive. Another kid said, I can't either.
So this is our assembly line. We're leaving them here. And then Amanda is gathering them and stapling. And passing them on to get trimmed. And then the finished ones are in that box all the way down there. So
We got a good system going. It's working out pretty well.
Keep your fingers out of there.
Oh yes, I know right where it comes down, so.
I've been thinking that we might sleep in the morning. We'll see how this goes with assembling, but
We should eventually be able to just go through and grab a page from each stack.
Oh my gosh.
I am tired, but I enjoy it. So all this month, been out here,
I've been out here 2 weeks, easy. And before that, weekends.
yeah,
But like this last week, I don't think you've been at work a lot.
not at my day job. We moved to Linton in '93, and probably by '95, one of the original guys here, he wanted to have a printing press out here. And so when we liquidated our shop in Selby, we gave them one of our presses. And then they built a fourth of this building, the front of this half.
I forgot that we had more than one remodel.
Oh yeah, this is the
Third.
second edition.
Yeah.
When a Lutheran minister in Linton heard about it and gave us his grandfather's press, which we had just a few type cases and those two presses. And that just kind of, and as people heard about it, then they wanted to donate things. And we found this family in Michigan that wanted to donate. Their father had died, and he had this hobby shop in his garage, and they wanted to open up their garage. So there he is.
Wait a minute, now, you're not actually recording that, are you?
Oh, we're just explaining the theory of relativity. How are things down there? Do you need any help?
No, they'll be up at the salads and stuff in just a minute.
It must be hell to have a very efficient group to work on this stuff. Not like what you're used to down there, right?
So how do you think tomorrow is going to turn out up at the library?
it's sounding like we'll have a good crowd. The room holds 40, and I think we'll fill it.
Well, it isn't a more so come and go, or is it just a...
Oh, no, it's a come sit down and listen.
There you go.
Thanks, Larry.
You're welcome.
Congratulations on your...
Thank you.
Hey, I've got a bunch of your books that you never signed. Will you sign them for me?
I verified what he sent me an email asking if I was interested in a chapbook. My first reply was, send me a book, a whole book, a big book. But then it dawned on me, we have this opportunity to use letterpress equipment, very rare, working in good order with experts who know how to make things go, how to fix things or how to wire things together to make it last a little bit longer. And it would be an opportunity for my students who are in Introduction to Publishing to experience from publicity and marketing to the actual creation of the book, and we're really proud of it, and they've done a super job. We couldn't have done it though without some poetry to go in it.
It took the young people a semester to really put together this book, and I guess they figure that's really quite a job, though they get a grade for it. I'd give them an A. Venerable elm with outstretched limbs, convener and celebrant of every everyday breeze, disheveling your shade. Rocked by amber thought, syrup flung in stringy yarn toward carved scars, torn stems, the needlepoint of stars,
Gulping ground whiskey, drunk in the sun, enacting quaking poses and slurred susurrus that attracts busybody birds. Provender to rooters above and below, raccoons and moles and beetles and ants, attuned to your whiplash scenes and spooky phases, plus woodpeckers rattling inside in red rages, shaking ferny fists at this, a cascade of plenty, scraping my camo vest. Oh, multitude of one, Lakota dancer, stilled by a lightning hit, shedding shreds of the ages, its proof incised in you in rings. Now I, chainsaw crying, blue as September sky, I must dismember you. I love that chainsaw. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate all of you gathered here. Thank you very much.
We had a great turnout at the reading event. I counted 64 right before we started, but I poked my head around and there were some people in the hallway even, so we may have had almost 70, which is a lot of people, I think. And we're doing really well with selling the chapbooks. They're going really fast, and people are really interested in getting like the lowest numbered ones they can get, and they're happy they're already signed, so there's no long wait to get a signature from Larry and hear him reading it live, because I've been reading it for months, but it was really nice to see how Larry interprets it. Are you sure you want to do this again next year?
Oh, of course. Yep.
Okay.
So this is our spring 2017 Introduction to Publishing class. Their first chance to get their hands-on experience with the letterpress equipment that we've been talking about in class. They worked on designing a chapbook that we are printing for sale. It will be marketed and distributed with their ideas and plans. This is the first stage. They're printing just the covers today. In May, I think, we will go to Braddock and they'll print the interiors. I should have counted fingers before we started, just in case.
I operated one of these similar to this starting when I was about 12.
Have you ever smashed a finger in anything?
No. The thing about this equipment, it's all quite dangerous, but you respected it. You knew that when it came to work in the morning, so you didn't mess with it. I didn't do this ahead of time, this part, because you have to set it up specifically for the paper that you're going to use. I'm getting much closer. I have a wrench specifically for this, but I don't know where it is. The thing that's much nicer about these than computers is you can hit them with a hammer.
They have done that with.
They are out of order?
But no, most of them are. But the Z looks exactly like the N, unless they're mixed up or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's confusing.
In this era, you had to measure everything. I think that's about right.
Another poet that I'd like to work with, she is a birch bark artist. So she folds thin layers of birch bark into little pieces, just like you would make a snowflake in the old days, and you would cut little parts out, and then when you open it, it's a design. So I would like her to teach my students how to do that. She's an Ojibwe woman, poet, writer, instructor. She does all kinds of things, but also this birch bark biting.
That's a happy face. I know. I'm happy.
Everybody's got to take a picture of the author.
Very nice.
It has a little bit of mottled coloring to it.
Oh, yes.
So it's a little bit forgiving for ink.
Yes.
Stray ink marks, and I thought it added a little bit of elegance.
I like it. It's a little elegant.
My hands are too dirty for surgery, so if you want to grab
like a half-inch of paper.
I don't know if I want to do this first. Just
You
do
saw
it.
all of those one-handed students that survived.
Jeez.
Grab one of those, pull this lever back. It won't print unless that lever's back. There you go. And then turn the flywheel.
Gonna get a workout in today.
Okay, and then stop it right there.
I'm not paying attention, guys. I'm a bad team. Yeah, I was mesmerized. I just was forgetting my job.
It's like hard to start, but then once this big old thing gets moving,
Yeah.
it moves.
We are about there. Just want to approve that.
For the Burkes, the success of the NDSU Press students means far more than printing a pretty chapbook. It means something more along the lines of how old DR felt when his son took over the family paper. It signals a carrying on of one of their sincerest passions, another revolution of a tradition handed down to them that will someday solely belong to a new generation of the creators, communicators, and printers of tomorrow.